Hello, in this video we're going to run through this S2000 power supply from AllPowers, and also there is a flexible solar panel, the SF200, which I'll show you later on. It's a bit big so I couldn't get it in the van. As always, AllPowers have sent me this to review, but my views are my own and I will tell you what I think of the unit, good, bad or indifferent. It's quite a portable unit, it's only about 14.5 kilos. It is a 1500 watt hour battery with a 2000 watt inverter that has a 4000 watt peak. Now, as I always say in these videos, I'm no technical wizard with stuff like this, but to give you a rough outline, 1500 watt hours is the storage capacity. You'd assume it could run something that was 1500 watts for an hour. They're never that efficient. You've always got a base that there's going to be a little bit of loss in that. So let's just be kind and say it'll run something that's 1300 watts for an hour, but are you ever going to run something that big, you know, for that amount of time? And indeed, in this video, we do try something like that, and it proves a point that you can't do stuff like that. They're really, really useful in a van for running a microwave, a toaster, a kettle, short-term stuff like that, or maybe topping up your van battery if your batteries are going low, things like that. But constant draw at over 1000 watts, they're not going to last long enough. That's not the type of thing that we're looking at here for use in a van. What I'll also say is, to my normal viewers who like the camping stuff, I know a lot of you don't like me doing the reviews as much. Don't worry about it. I always make the thumbnails and titles as honest as I can. I've always said this. I'm happy that if nobody watches the reviews that normally watch the camping stuff, that's absolutely fine. These reviews are always good for people that are looking to buy these type of things, and it's a different audience in a way. So I'm quite happy that people view or don't view on these. I do like doing the reviews. I'm not going to stop doing them, but I just like to point out that the camping side, where we show you what we do, is a completely different side to the channel when we do the review stuff. So without further ado, let's get into showing you this. We'll do the normal stuff where we go in the garage and we do a walkthrough. We'll show you it in use in the van as we've been away. I'll show you all the charging options, and then come back to me at the end of the video and we'll wrap it up and I'll tell you if I've got any deals for you. So as with all these AllPowers units, you firstly get an outer box, an inner box, and then inside that box there will be all your wiring and accessories. So inside the little warranty card, you've got some information on joining AllPowers Facebook and AllPowers Club, stuff like that. There's your warranty to fill in. The instruction booklet. This bag has got a dust sheet on. I'll show you that on the unit in a moment. And then you've got your normal little splash proof bag that they give you with AllPowers stuff. Right, so inside the bag you've got your mains hookup lead, as we refer to in the UK as a kettle plug. And then it's rare that you get one of these with a power bank. Usually it's a pay for extra, but this time they've actually sent me the DC charger for your cigarette lighter in your car to the XT60, and the gauge of the cable is really quite thick, which is nice to see. There we go then, there's the unit in the little dust cover that you get with it. It's just velcroed on at the sides and the front like that, and then I don't know if I can do this one-handed very well, but anyway, you get the idea. Zip down to reveal the unit. Obviously this is only for storage, should you want to store it in the garage area of your van or something, just to keep the dust and minor scratches off it. Right, so here's your specifications of the unit. As you can see, S2000, not to be confused with the S2000 Pro. There are two versions of this. This is just the standard S2000, so this comes with a lithium ion battery. You can see the capacity is 1500 watt hours. Now it's confusing that they call it the S2000 and it's a 1500 watt hours storage capacity. The 2000 refers to the inverter. It's a 2000 watt inverter with a 4000 surge. You can see, if you pause the video, all of the other things like the dimensions and your voltages for your USBs, etc. We'll just focus a minute on the capacity for charging. You can see AC 400 watt in. You can't alter that at all. It just is 400 watt AC charging that then throttles back towards the end of the charge cycle. So it's quite a slow charging unit, but that's not a problem. You can also dual input and put solar in at the same time if you are in a rush. Okay, so you know by now what we do. Get the unit on the bench and give you a quick overview of it. So you can see on the front of the unit, you've got your 4 AC sockets, all capable of putting out 2000 watts, but obviously you can't put out 2000 in each one, so it doesn't output 8000, but each socket is 2000 watts. You've got your DC output cigarette lighter, as we call it in the UK. You've got 6 USBs, 2 USB-Cs, 2 normal USBs and 2 fast charge USBs. You've got your on-off switch, your AC switch, your DC switch, and then the input for solar charging and also cigarette lighter charging. On the side of each unit you've got a fan. There's that side. There's that side. And then on the rear of the unit you've just got your 240 volt input. This unit doesn't really have any hidden gimmicks like flashing lights and stuff like that. It really is just as you see it. It's a power bank, basic, but it works. So press and hold to power on. You'll see during the video this is going to make no sense. It's going to be up and down because I, as normal, am recording this over 2 or 3 days, and I'll have used it, I'll have charged it a bit, etc, etc. So ignore the fact that this is going to be jumping about. And it really is simple. AC on. You get a little bit of a fan noise and then it calms down. Your AC sockets are now live. So DC on. Short press. You can see now your USBs are all live, as is your carport. If you press that and hold it, the Wi-Fi sign comes on. That is so that the app works. There is an app to control this. I'll put a little screenshot on, but it is basic. It really does just turn on the AC or the DC. You can't control anything else like the charging speed or anything. So it allows you to monitor from a distance your charge rate, etc, etc. So if you've got the unit maybe charging in the boot of the vehicle or something like that, you can actually see this charge status via the app, but you cannot really control it other than turning these on or off. So let's have a quick look at the unit itself, the build quality. It's very plasticky. I know it looks industrial, but it's not weak plastic. I mean, I wouldn't stand on it or anything like that, but it's perfectly acceptable for putting stuff on to charge. It's strong where it needs to be. These carry handles are very firm and secure, and they're obviously bolted straight through the unit at least. So you can pick it up very easily with that. Indeed, you can carry it with one hand. Obviously I can't do that while I'm filming, but trust me, it's only about 14.5 kilos. So it's in that sort of area which still makes it portable. I think, as I've said on many of these review videos that I've done before, you start getting anywhere over sort of 1500 watt hours and they become a bit cumbersome to lift in and out the van. This one is still fairly portable and will easily be capable of running kettles and toasters and stuff like that over the weekend. It's quite a sizable panel, this. As you can see, it comes packed really well in a box, wrapped in some foam type substance, so it's not going to get damaged. Inside the box with the solar panel you get a quantity of Velcro strips if you want to hang it from the side of the van or something like that. You get a little instruction book, and you actually do get the lead that converts your MC4s to your XT60. Okay, so here's the solar panel out of the packaging now. You can see the foam that I said it's wrapped in. This is obviously a flexible solar panel, but it's slightly less portable than one of the folding ones. I'll put a link to the website, as I say, always in the description, showing you that if you did want a foldable solar panel, they do that as well. But I opted for the flexible version this time, purely because they've sent me a foldable before, and I just fancied trying this one out. So you can see you can use this by hanging the Velcro strips, say off the side of the van, on your roof rack or something like that. You can use it, but you know, would you want to carry something this size around in the van over a foldable? Probably not. This is more, I guess, aimed at permanent fixing on the roof of a van, or maybe make a frame for. You can see the wires are attached there, and I've just added the supplied lead to start charging with it. So the specifications there, if you want to pause the video: 200 watt flexible solar panel, monocrystalline silicon plus ETFE, maximum output 200 watt plus or minus 5%, open voltage 38.4 volts plus or minus 5%, short circuit 6.87 amps, maximum output voltage 32 volts plus or minus. You get the idea. Okay, so we're away for the weekend in the van. We've got the AllPowers with us, and we're on our usual way of connecting it to the van so that we've got AC. You can see I'm coming out the AC socket and then into the van hookup socket, so that all my sockets in the van work. So it's on. And there we go, all the sockets in the van will be live. You can see that there's no output because I've turned the van charger off. What we're going to do on this video, I'm not going to charge the unit at all over the weekend, so we're just going to use it for the kettle, microwave if we need to, and toaster if we need to, and we'll see how we go after a couple of days. So kettle on, cup of tea. Right, so this is a bit baffling for me. This is the first time I've actually used it. Kettle is merrily boiling away. In fact, we're not far off being boiled, and you can see it's still pulling out 572 watts, but the battery meter is still showing fully charged, which I find very odd. It's a 1500 watt hour battery. I'd assume it would have gone down to at least, you know, 96%. Maybe the display isn't as accurate as some of them are. I did note when I charged it for the first time, it was on 99 for ages until it went to 100, but even so, it seems very, very odd that that is still on 100, and I can tell by the tone of the kettle we're not far off it clicking off. Kettle's off. Any minute now that display I'd have thought will drop. There we go. And yeah, as you can see, it's still showing 100%. Right, we are actually on our third use with the kettle, and the capacity did finally start dropping. All through the use of kettle number 1, it stayed on 100. All through the use of kettle number 2, it stayed on 100. But on kettle 3, it has now started dropping. So I need to keep my eye on this and just see if the battery gauge is either temperamental or just it's really efficient from 100 and then it drops off quite dramatically. I mean, even 3 kettle loads, what are we going to get down to? 95 maybe? Yeah, there you go, it's just dropped to 95, so the scale is working. It just seemed to me to be a bit odd that it stayed on 100 for a while. We'll now see what the toaster does, and we'll see if that display finally starts playing ball. It's quite a noisy fan on this, but it's not terrible. And we can see the toaster pulls the usual 740 odd watts. And yeah, the display I think is working as I'd expect it to now. Maybe just the 99 to 100 part is just a bit optimistic, but it certainly seems to be dropping as I'd expect for the amount of usage we'd had. My crumpets are about done as much as I need them to do, and we've got down to 88%. It was on 83%. Just going to make another cup of tea.
And I've not been filming everything that we've done basically, but I think easily lasts a weekend without charging this one. There we go then, so it's down to 75%. So that's not bad. I think we've done about at least 5 or 6 kettles of water so far this weekend. Right, not something we'd normally try on a weekend away, but we're going to see if we can heat a tank of water on electric using the power bank. You see at the minute we're on 71%. We're going to turn the boiler on just to 900. Are we going to do you think, or are you going to try 18?
I don't know, I've just switched it on now.
Alright, we'll see if it's capable and what it uses. What's the temperature of the water at the moment?
22 degrees.
So water at 22 degrees, and we'll see. We've got it set for 900 and it's showing 844. We'll see what we can get it up to, and we'll see how much it eats of the battery. Right, we've made an executive decision. It's all or nothing. We're going to try it on full power. This should cope because it's a 2000 watt with a 4000 peak, but we'll see what it takes out of the battery if we put it on full. So we can see now it's just jumped up. It says 1660, but the boiler in the van actually says 1800, so we're there or thereabouts. I don't want to let it go down too low, but I do want to actually, you know, use it for a kettle in the morning. But obviously these things aren't really made for this, running constantly at maximum draw. They won't last long. I mean, that's saying 29 minutes till exhausted. Yeah, it drops a percent quite quickly. Okay, so we think this is a bit of a futile experiment, but it does prove a point that although these things will run high wattage items, we're just going to sort of flatten it for no real gain. So at the minute it says we've got 24 minutes left of battery, and we're down to 57% already, 56, and the water temperature is still 22 degrees. It hasn't even picked it up 1 degree yet, so we're guaranteeing that we will flatten this before we've heated a tank of water. So for me, it sort of proves that it will run these type of items, you know, pulling 1600 watts like this. But for constant runs, as I've always said, they're not the items for that. If you wanted to microwave a meal for 5 or 6 minutes, perfect. But if you want to run something at high wattage, you can see basically it's a 1500 watt hour item. As I've said, we're running 1600, so it's obviously going to run for less than an hour, and we'd already used 25% of it anyway, boiling kettles and stuff. So I'm proving a point that it will do it, but I don't think it's wise doing it. So we're going to abandon this here, flip it over to gas, and just continue using this for kettles, toasters, etc. for the rest of the weekend. Right, so we've been using the AllPowers all weekend, and bar the little part where we decided not to use the water heater, it's coped really well. This morning we've got the toaster and the kettle on at the same time. I've lost count of the amount of times I've used the kettle, to be honest, but can safely say for a weekend's use it's worked absolutely fine, so very happy with it. Right, that's pretty much it for the weekend's use, down to 11%, but as I said, we haven't actually charged the unit at all while we've been away. Right, so this is just to show you it charging through the DC socket in from your cigarette lighter. You can see it's putting in around 122 watts. The charger in the van is probably around 10 amps, maybe a fraction more, so that's about the limit that you're going to get in through the socket.
This is a slow charging process when you do it this way, but it's always handy to have if you've got this, and they do supply this lead, so it's nice to have, and it does work if you want to just top the thing up as you're driving along and stuff like that. It is still fairly early in the morning. It's 9 AM on what's promised to be a fairly sunny day, so we'll see how we go with this. It's quite cloudy, but I'm hopeful I'll get a decent bit of charging today. At the minute you can see we're putting in 31 watts. We'll see what we get in during the day. Partially chasing the sun, I'll move my stand around as we go and we'll see what we get. I've got the unit leaning up a set of step ladders to get a decent enough angle. So yeah, I'll come back to you periodically through the day and we'll see where we get to. So we're about 3 hours in now since I put it on charge, getting in a good 150 watts constantly, and we're up to 54%. I have seen higher wattage than that. I think we've hit 175 at one time, although I'm not watching it all the time obviously. It is just periodically popping out and just turning my frame round a little bit to keep following the sun. I've just spun the panel now on its side, you can see like that, and we are hitting 156 watts now. We have seen it shoot up to about 180, but yeah, we're doing well. This should easily be fully charged by the end of the afternoon. It's been on charge 6 hours now, and we're on 99%, still putting in about 146 watts, so gives you a rough idea that you could easily charge one of these during the day, as long as you've got the sun really. There you go. This was the S2000, a 1500 watt hour, 2000 watt inverter, and also the SF200 flexible solar panel. Now, as always, if there are any discount codes to be had, they'll be on the screen now, and they'll also be in the description below. Let me know if you've got any questions, and I'll see you on another review video or another camping video, whichever you watch. Thanks for watching. Ta-da.